the issues affecting us in our daily lives now in Europeans.
Tourists who came to Lampedusa this summer experienced an idyllic time. In the middle of the Mediterranean, this is Europe's southernmost point. It is only 167 kilometers from Africa. The tourists are barely aware that thousands of migrants have washed up on Lampedusa. You can't see them anywhere. Everything seems perfectly normal. The problem is just invisible to the tourists.
Non evidente alle persone, ai turisti che vengono qua.
When I came, I expected to see illegal migrants, accommodation centers for them, but there's none of that. Yes, the centers are well organized. There is one in Lampedusa. This is it, the Lampedusa Center for Temporary Stay. Anyone who has ever tried to escape has quickly been put back, behind the barbed wire and fences patrolled by armed guards. According to Italian law, this center and others like it elsewhere are not prisons. Euronews only managed a relatively close look at the Lampedusa Center thanks to a joint visit by a member of the European Parliament and an Italian senator from the United Left, Nordic Green Left group and the Green group, respectively, and a lawyer who works for a humanitarian association. They arrived unannounced. The first speaker is the senator. It is very tense here. More than 500 men are kept in a place designed to hold 180. Every summer is a non-stop emergency. And the infrastructure still hasn't been expanded. There are 10 toilets, not enough water. The people who arrived 48 hours ago haven't had a chance to wash yet. It is not appropriate. One of them asked me, "Is this really Europe?" The camp is managed by the charity Confraternita Misericordia. When the camp is filled to bursting, it is emptied out. The week of the parliamentarians' visit, there were 700 detainees virtually on the airport runway. A mass of confusion, children in with everybody else, informers together with people traffickers. Each was rationed 1.5 liters of water per day. During the weekend, 40 charter flights landed and took off right over their heads until they were all gone. The visiting lawyer talks about their distress. Their physical condition is bad, their state of mind is bad. Behind these bars, you can see, under the burning sun, with little water, few phone cards to call home. Worst of all, they don't know why they are there, and they don't know what to expect once they leave. Libya, who knows? The Italian Interior Ministry says more than 1,600 migrants were flown from Lampedusa to Libya in the past year. The UN and Amnesty International continue to criticize the repatriations. The government's representative in the province of Agrigento, of which Lampedusa is a part, was on holiday when Euronews tried to find out more. His substitute said he could not be of any help. The Euro MP talks about a proliferation of uncertainty.
Last
April, the European Parliament adopted a resolution condemning the way Italy is managing this centre. The mass expulsions without identification or with summary identification, the flight to Libya, all this. Nobody knows where these migrants go. Nobody tells you where they will be transferred. Nobody tells you how long they will remain here. Nobody tells you the procedure being applied. Those leaving Lampedusa who are not transferred to other centres in Italy end up in Libya. The governments in Rome and Tripoli have signed agreements. Libya accepts the rejects in return for economic aid. Many of the deportees end up in other camps in the middle of the desert. Libya pledges to respect the basic human rights. It is also known that most of the migrants' boats leave from Libya. During the first 8 months of this year, an estimated 5,000 migrants set out from Morocco, Tunisia, Sudan, and Pakistan. A ride on a tiny fishing boat costs more than 1,000 euros. The Italian Coast Guard is limited to offering first aid. The commander of the 7th Squad is one of those who is unhappy with the task.
Se noi ci trovassimo davanti a una nave, avremmo
When
gli
we find a
strumenti
ship, we have the means to safeguard human life
salvaguardare la vita umana e per
and prevent the ship from entering national waters.
Ma siccome nelle condizioni più felici ci troviamo davanti
But
a
at
barconi
best, we find ourselves facing fishing vessels that don't even look like boats.
di salvataggio di pessima fattura, credo che ci troviamo tutte le volte
We have to mount a rescue mission.
ci troviamo davanti a
When
un'operazione
it comes to saving human lives, there is not much room for interpretation.
Della vita umana non credo che ci sia molto da interpretare.
This is one of the most recent wrecks to reach Lampedusa. It had 192 people on board. So that it is never reused for trafficking, it will be destroyed, like all the others. The number of people who began illegal voyages and did not survive is not known. It is little talked about. Lampedusa fishermen have hauled in human corpses, an experience hard to forget. We were in a small bay. We pulled up the net and found all these bodies caught in it. We took them to land and they are now in the cemetery. The problem of illegal immigration attempts did not spring up overnight. It has been growing for several years, with Italy pushing to involve its European Union partners more. As for the dead boat people of the Mediterranean, some of them were buried without so much as their names.